Hello. D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored. How's everybody doing? Yeah. You know what day it is? It's Monday, and you know what comes on Monday from West Coast Uncensored? Monday mayhem, insider rumors, and news behind the scenes. What could be signings, disciplines, problems, maybe even storylines, whatever we can find here, and bring you on the rumors and news on a Mayhem Monday for professional wrestling is here. This is D-Boy from the West Coast Uncensored. West Coast Uncensored is a podcast that covers professional wrestling. This is what this one's going to be about. This episode will be professional wrestling, but we do NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. We just dropped the NFL free agency and the quarterback issues of the quarterbacks, where they're going to go. There's like seven. There's a big number, 7 or 8 of them, possible moving. We kind of talked about that in that video. Go see it, man. It's really good. Kind of gives some insight and some possibilities. Nothing definite. I don't have no insider news exactly where Tommy Boy's going, but kind of looks at some things and some of the rumors going around. Dropped a NBA one earlier today on the unbelievable LeBron James weekend versus the Bucks and the Clippers, taking his game to another level. You don't see 17-year veterans in the NBA still playing at a level that LeBron James has been doing all year. Definitely could be, and definitely he's top 1 or 2 for most valuable player, in the fact that what role he also has to be for that Laker team. So hit that one up. So we do NFL, we do NBA, we even do Major League Baseball, but today's that Monday mayhem, professional wrestling at its best. Let's get started. So some of the news that's been going around and cooking around is been the fact that we know that Matt Hardy is left. As of March 1st, just a week ago, Matt Hardy officially contract expired. Matt Hardy officially dropped a video within the 24 hours that showed him asking, it was actually last Tuesday, asking on the phone with somebody and talking to them, asking them for their help. It coincided with a video in Being the Elite the day before on Monday, where the show ended with Matt Jackson on the phone with somebody, with Nick trying to and Matt talking to somebody on the phone. Well, they actually connected both these calls on Being the Delete, which is Matt Jackson, Matt Hardy show. And then at the end of the show, he was saying his zenith was dying, and this is something he created with a broken Matt Hardy in the past. And he was talking, and he was on the phone. And then at the end of the show, the Young Bucks showed up at his compound, and then he mentioned the fact, and the show went off the air, that the Bucks of Youth had showed, and he knew they would show. So which of course on the internet and everything has everybody having him showing at AEW, showing up as is either rumored one. I mean, this is one of the biggest rumors for the Dark Order's Exalted one has been that it would be a great fit for Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy called and asked for the Young Bucks, who are a nemesis and definitely on the other side of the page of the Dark Order. Dark Order has definitely been on the Young Bucks and have called the Young Bucks out, and definitely that feud's getting ready to definitely happen. The Young Bucks and the Dark Order are definitely not on the same page, but it doesn't mean that the storyline couldn't somehow through this switch. That's one person. Another one is Brody Lee. Brody Lee's another one. So these free agents are floating around. Brody Lee. Lance Archer, who is officially signed. Lance Archer was supposed to show up at Dynamite and didn't. He didn't show up at Dynamite. Lance Archer we're told he would, but he didn't. But we did get a surprise. Jake the Snake Roberts showed up. Just a lot happened during that weekend. So you got Luke Harper, Brody Lee, the Ascension out of their contract. Could the Ascension be that way? It looks like the Ascension's 90-day no compete clause is over. They could be signed somewhere else. They're a tag team. Also, the Revival had been taken off TV, and the Revival have not been. We're not at the pay-per-view that WWE had with the chamber match, with the tag team chamber match. It looks like the Revival have stood their ground, have not went forward, and have not accepted the WWE contract. They went and got their names. They copyrighted for their tag team name before they ever in the W. They don't own the Revival, and they actually copyrighted a few names, which was to me pointed to the fact that they could be departing, and they did that. And they it looks like they've stayed, even though the WWE is even throwing more money at their feet. They want their creativity power. They want to go experience where tag team wrestling matters. They just don't want to be throwing money and then have no pop at all for them, which has been something we've seen the WWE do over and over and over and over. Some guys have fell for the money and have went back and stayed and signed big contracts. And then even guys signed big contracts that we know of, and then 2 months later asked out of it because of what came with that, which to me was not surprising. I mean, you sign the contract, you know what they do. They're the masters of giving you nothing and bearing you, and you did it. That's becomes on you. And the Revival didn't fall for it. The Revival want to be creative. The Revival want to wrestle, or tag team wrestling matters. The Revival didn't sign, and the WWE looks like they have stopped trying to get them to. They have actually took them off TV and don't have them scheduled for any TV time. I don't think they have scheduled for house shows either. The end of WrestleMania, that end of April, their contracts expire. One of the members, I don't know if it's Dawson or that, seemed to have maybe had added time to them because of an injury, but one of them will be completely free at that time of expiration. So I expect the Revival to be gone. Brody Lee, Matt Hardy, Luke Harper, and definitely Lance Archer is in. So there's kind of the things going around, but it's kind of what AEW is doing in this thing with all the background stuff, that they're, people, don't like that, and some people to say that. It's the truth. Some people make up excuses about why things do certain things and then kind of defend it when you see that they do the same things over and over, and then defend it. Well, now let's be honest. I just believe in honesty and just tell it like it is. Same things done over and over. You're not going to change. I mean, it's like, my classic thing for this is, if I go to a bad restaurant, I tried it. It's on me. It's on the bad restaurant. If I go back and I have the complaints that it's a bad restaurant, well, hey, you knew it was a bad restaurant. You went there once and it sucked. But you went back. That's on you. I go back a third time and complain about the restaurant. Well, it was on you the second time. What's your problem the third time? That's what I'm talking about. If you know that something is a certain way over and over and over, why do you expect change? I'm not going to go into any depth over what I'm talking about. Them who know. People make excuses for it. But Moxley made the statement, bringing wrestling back. How I see it bringing wrestling back? Storylines, long-term booking, long-term storylines, connecting the dots to make sense. AEW's doing it, and they're keeping you off balance. We do not know who the Exalted One is. We can speculate. We could say it's Matt Hardy, but could it be Lance Archer? Could it be Brody Lee? Jake the Snake shows up and said he's got a new client on a promo. Cuts up. And this is another thing, bringing pro wrestling. Cutting a promo from the deliciousville of a great restaurant. We see this every week. It's becoming to be the mainstay of AEW's, that they don't have 40 writers writing stories and getting ripped up by somebody before they go on air. And that tells me if you do that, you have no storylines, because storylines for wrestling have always been long-term booking, not popcorn booking by putting the popcorn in the microwave 2 weeks after you start the storyline for the payout. It can be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, even a year, even 18 months payouts can be. That's how wrestling was always done. That's what they're bringing back. Guess what? We look forward to Wednesday night because we're getting something that we're excited about, because when we don't, it's not so predictable. And even when things are predictable, they can be good. It's just how they're brought out and how they're good. Some things get predictable at just plain ignoramusville. You know what I'm talking about. But anyways, these promos, these storylines that were connected in the past, we see them connecting, and then you see the connection of them, that cable connecting from the beginning of the storyline to now. That's what AEW is doing right. That's why Wednesday night we see it and we're like, wow, 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 wow. I can't wait to the next episode. We don't really know, for a shadow of a doubt. You can only speculate. Unless you have some great insider, they've been good about hiding their stuff, which means that they have trust within the inner circle of the ones who really know the business within AEW, and it's not getting out. It's not getting out. Nobody knows who is Matt Hardy even coming. Matt Hardy's saying that Matt Hardy's words are that he's talking to Impact. He's talking to Hunter Hearst Helmsley about possibly working on NXT. He's talking to AEW. He's talking to NWA. He's even talking to New Japan. So he's telling you he's a free agent. He's not saying I am this or I'm going there. Or I've made my decision. But that could be a smokescreen, because he's got a good mind. Because in this week's this morning's Being the Elite, Matt Jackson having flashbacks of the incident that we haven't seen yet, but I'm sure we're going to see in a later time, later date, because I think it's going to connect to storyline. I think with these storylines, he's made his mind up. I think it's just a matter of when now that we'll see him there. But he's telling everybody, I'm still talking. I'm still talking. I'm still talking. And he may be. I mean, he could bunk it and go to New Japan if he wants. But I think he's made up his mind because of the fit. And then immediately having the Buckaroos, the Young Bucks, with him, the Bucks of Youth, as he called them. So the storyline, could he be the Dark Order? Yeah. Could he come in and maybe not be the Dark Order, just be Matt Hardy? Yeah, he's mentioned he wanted to wrestle Kenny Omega. Makes sense with the Dark Order. It makes sense. But we don't know exactly. Like I said, Jake the Snake came in and cut a great promo on Cody Rhodes. Called him Caesar twice, and told him he wasn't here to take the whole AEW pie. He was only here to take Cody's part of the pie. And then he reflected that he's got a client that would bring darkness and bring mayhem to the life of AEW and to the life of Cody Rhodes. Is it Lance? And then this is the thing I noticed. Jake had a little cut on the side. His hair was shaved. He had a 0, maybe a 1. But I think it's closer to a 0 or maybe a half shaved. Is that Lance Archer? Because Lance Archer has a mohawk. But it makes sense more if it's Brody Lee. Could it be Matt Hardy that he's represented? I don't really think so, because it doesn't fit. Brody Lee, to me, fits the most, but Lance Archer does fit. But could Lance Archer or Brody Lee be the... And this is where we don't know. And this is what's so great about what did. This is what's bringing back wrestling. You bringing back wrestling. Yeah, it is, because Vinny don't want to call it wrestling. He calls it sports entertainment. And I'm sorry. The detriments of what's been done to that are evident. Now, them who have been programmed and you watch it, and you don't know better, because to me, you don't know better. Because you don't know the past, especially if you've only been wrestling in this millennium, 2001 on, you don't know better. You ain't seen it the way it's supposed to be done. This is when, go back and watch a video I had 10 months ago. It was called The Foundation of Professional Wrestling, Sports Entertainment or Sports Eccentric, and that's broken down, and you could see where that is led. It's unfounded. It doesn't have a foundation. That's why you have other news and rumors is that the board of the WWE is getting getting sued by its stockholders because of the fall of the price. It's actually that's something that's out. I kind of heard bits and pieces of it, but I guess the stockholders are not happy, and I don't, yeah. So is it Jake Hager? I mean, is it those three? Another one that we forgot that was rumored by SoCal Uncensored immediately probably like a month to 5 weeks ago was Brian Cage. We're not hearing much about Brian Cage except that he had an injury and that he had to have a surgery. And he denied that he got signed because the rumor by SoCal Uncensored was that he had came and worked out a deal and he was going to he had signed a deal with AEW. Immediately his wife, within 7-8 hours the next morning, this was a late, came out and denied the fact that her husband had not signed with AEW and that actually he was injured. He is a free agent. He isn't signed anywhere, but he can't really wrestle anywhere because had a surgery and he has to recover from that surgery. But here's the thing about even this. Is this held under, grabbed and pulled back so it doesn't get out anymore, and it was denied because SoCal Uncensored usually brings you truth. They're actually usually always something that you can count on, SoCal Uncensored. And when does he pop up and come back? Could he be somebody in this mix? Could he be the exalted one? I don't see it as being, in a way, because he kind of doesn't fit that, but you could make him that. He will bring them another faction of another behemoth they've added. They're adding bigger guys. All Luke Harper, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, you're adding beef to, and you've added some strength and some big, because that was some of the people's complaints. People always finding things to complain. You have a new company. Any new company needs time to grow and get a foundation of what it's going to do. It's called common sense, buddies. Don't be biased. And people say I'm biased against the other one. The other one's been evident for 50 years what it does. It's changed. It was telling you something. That's why I love Moxley and them on TV calling it a belt. Dig it. Love it. Belt, belt, belt. I got the world strap. I got the world belt. Keep doing it. But Jake Roberts, great promo he cut on Cody. Definitely a heel promo. It cut like a knife. Cody's reaction to it was total babyface and total surprise. This is how you build the foundation of storylines and bringing somebody in and you connect storylines. It was kind of like this. He wanted MJF out. He lost to MJF. He's not over it. He can't believe all he went through to get his hands on MJF, and he really did not do what he needed to do and wanted to do to MJF. So what's he do? He comes out, calls MJF. Jake Roberts comes out. What it did was you took, say you're on a stove, you got a pot and you got it up high. You got it boiling. And then you say, you know what? I got to bring this to a simmer. I got to do something else. I got to leave in the kitchen for a bit. So I'm going to bring this down on low or simmer. And you go, okay, it's going to drop the heat, but it's still going to be on the stove. What this means and what I'm saying is you kind of divert to whoever Jake is bringing. But it doesn't end the feud with MJF because it's still on simmer or low. You can come back to it. That's how you keep multiple things going. That's story writing. That's storytelling. That's long-term booking. That's bringing wrestling back. That's what they mean by it. And my God, no 40 writers having to write your promos. That's just when I I don't. It's pathetic, and it's evident by what you see every Monday and Friday night how pathetic it is. This isn't about just railing on them, but it's easy to rail on them. And I see people go the opposite side and want to defend them. I'm like, you are defending the undefendable. I'm sorry. Wake up to what professional wrestling is, and this movement, this energy that they're bringing back. Now they're not only MLW's got good storylines and good shows. Watch MLW. As much as people may want to hate on Impact has a great women's division and a great man, and their storylines are very, very good. They make sense. They connect. They make sense. But here's some of the other stuff that we missed. With the free agents available, those are kind of it. The Revival's going to be next month. The Ascension's available. Will Ascension come to AEW? I'm not sure. I don't know how much they're looking for him and want to use him. But they definitely could. We will see. That's kind of the free agent stuff and the happening. The thing I wanted to bring out and kind of go back into, here's what the good thing about it. It keeps it fresh. It keeps you wanting to watch next week because the storylines connect. You want to see next week's story because it meshes with this week's story. And it's wrestling is a male, not just a male, it's male and women, but it's another version of what's it called, the soap operas for men and women. This is not a men thing. The women like wrestling too, but it's a soap opera that continues. So the storylines have to continue. Like I said, you can't start a September new show like they have and then go, whoops. Can we have the payoff in October? No, the payoff's in April or May at the season finale, buddy. You don't get the season finale in 2 weeks from the beginning of the new season. Bingo. That's how wrestling's supposed to be too. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Finally, bring it back. But anyways, those are the kind of the free agents of this Monday Mayhem. Rumors inside that kind of happened was that I didn't cover this because I kind of, with my equipment coming and not functioning the way I wanted it to, I did not do the Revolution. But at Revolution, there were some title changes. Jon Moxley became the AEW new champion, defeating Chris Jericho, overcoming the outside interference by the Inner Circle, and claiming his first AEW and only the second AEW champion, ending and starting the reign of Moxley in AEW. And really, it was a good match. And the best thing about the match was a very physical breakdown, outside interference. Of course, they got involved. Moxley overcame that, and Aubrey Edwards threw out the whole Inner Circle. And then towards the end, because she caught them cheating, she caught Hager throwing her right hand, hitting Moxley, and she threw all the Inner Circle away from ringside. Even when those three, which was Santana, Hager, and Ortiz, had left, on the other side of the ring, coming through the crowd, was Sammy Guevara, grabbed the world title belt, and he then hit Moxley. Then he slid out and left too. But Moxley was able to bounce back, pull off even the eye patch, the pirate eye patch, and then his eye was okay. Jericho was amazed that it wasn't injured like he thought it was. He caught him, ended up catching him, and then caught him in the paradigm shift, pinning Jericho, and I believe 24 minutes, and becoming the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. The reign of Mox's began. It was a very, very good pay-per-view. From what I'm hearing, the numbers coming in, they're breaking all their records. That BR Live is up 10%, Fight TV's up 10%. Now what will the regular formats be? I just see it probably being, it doesn't surprise me, because the TV and the storyline connecting made me excited through the Dynamites and the show after Dynamite before Revolution. The leading up into Revolution made me excited about the card because of the storyline telling that they did since Dynamite had started in October, and connecting every week with storylines and long-term booking. It made us exciting. So to see them do better than even their very first pay-per-view, which is Double or Nothing, doesn't surprise me, because of storylines and there's excitement in it and stuff. We had a great match between Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. Is Darby Allin not over? I mean, this is you talk about baking and building young stars and being able to get them over. AEW's did a great job with this young 23-year-old enigma. A little different, reminds a lot of people a little bit of Jeff Hardy. They even call him the Enigma. Is a different guy. Definitely a risk taker, somebody who's been a and coming to the ring with a skateboard. They've got him over. He's had some great matches with Moxley. He's had some matches with the Inner Circle, and has a feud with the Inner Circle. So he had got on earlier weeks, he had gotten a feud with Sammy Guevara. The Inner Circle beat him down, and Guevara took a skateboard to his throat and slammed him where the skateboard appeared to go into his neck, and he couldn't talk. and this led it into the feud and into the match at Revolution. This was a great match. Both of them look good. They definitely are two young lions and phenoms that are definitely the future of AEW. I could see either one of them or both of them at one time holding in the future of the world title. It just looks apparent that they will. They both are very much on fire. They both, I have to give it to AEW making stars. They said they needed to make some of these young guys that they had brought into their organization that were not former stars from somewhere else. The guys they brought from the indies, whether it's Private Party, that 21-year-old tag team, the guys are 21, 22, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, some of these young wrestlers like that, and make them household stars in the industry, because they're out there. Some of these guys are on a big stage for the first time. They never were on TV. They've never been on TV until October, and you can see the growth of them on TV. Their match at Revolution was intense. Their athletic ability, their hard hitting was showing. We seen 630 by Guevara on a table on top of Darby, which was really a great spot. We seen him going back and forth, but eventually getting the coffin drop and getting the pin was Darby Allin. Really good match. This was one of the best matches at Revolution when you looked at it. And Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, they went at it. One of the other better matches there was the fact that besides that was the women's world heavyweight championship. I do like the champion, the native beast. I do like Chris Statlander. The match was not great. It was maybe a 2. I know Meltzer gave it a 2, and that's about right. Missed spots. I do know, and this isn't making excuses, being in California, that we have bar wrestling here, that Chris Statlander was set to be at bar wrestling, and she didn't make it. She canceled because she was sick and she had the flu. So that flu may have carried over to her and Nyla's match, that she didn't look fluent. They didn't have the best of chemistry. Maybe because they're similar in a lot of ways, both strong women, strong moves. And sometimes in history, that doesn't always make the best matches. Putting the Road Warriors against the Powers of Pain didn't always give the best match. Putting the Road Warriors against the Midnight Express or Tully and Arn would give you a better match, because they would sell and they would be cohesive. I like them to do a do-over in the future. And a lot of times with this women's, a lot of the women are green. Statlander's 3 years in the business. Nyla is definitely new to TV. Does have a lot of experience. I've listened to her interview on Chris Talk is Jericho. She spent a lot of time. She spent over a year to a year and 3 months in Japan wrestling there. So she does have experience, but new to TV. A lot of these women don't have the experience of wrestling each other because they only do it once a week and then dark. Cutting and going to indies, and for a lot of these younger wrestlers, they need the experience. So going to the indies and getting the experience, because it would be like this. If you worked one time a month and we could bring in, like, say, a Ric Flair to work with these girls, they're not going to get significantly better working even with a Ric Flair who gets everybody over. If you know the history of Ric Flair, he made Sting, he made Luger, he made a lot of the younger wrestlers, the Steiner brothers. A lot of those guys have a lot to do with Ric Flair's influence and his wrestling and his knowledge, because he knew how to get people better. He knew how to get them over. He made Sting what it is. Sting has said that. Ric Flair made him when he was young. If you were to bring Ric Flair and say, wrestle these women, get them better, if you gave him 1 time a month, 2 times a month, you may not see a significant change. But if you gave him 3 times a week, 4 times a week, within a month, you would see a change. And it's about the working and who you're working with and the training. The women definitely, at times, I thought maybe they're getting on line. This match didn't have a lot of hype, so it didn't have the storyline, because Nyla had just won the title from Riho at a Dynamite just a couple weeks before this. So it really didn't have the hype to get us to the next level, a storyline with her and Chris. And some of their moves just didn't connect and they just had lacking in it. Nyla retains and wins the title. I mean, retains the title, wins it. But the match, it just kind of threw back. Just kind of threw back to the women's division is going to take time. And I hope they could get on the right boat with the women. It may take bringing in a star. It just may take bringing in somebody who's lived. It may take somebody I know that I'm going to throw a little rumor out here. Sue Young is done at Impact. Her contract's over. Could Sue Young be the beneficiary to the AEW women's, having the experience she does, having the experience with the women that she's wrestled with? Sue Young be a great plus to the women's division AEW, possibly. But I think to get this over, I see just a few names. There could be a couple in WWE. They're under contract. So I don't know that any of them that are a free agent would even like to get out of that. But I know Tessa Blanchard would be one. And I know that another one I really like and see for me in also Impact would be Jordan Grace would be a great opportunity and somebody great in that situation. And there's one I think they should have jumped on and they didn't, and I think they may have the opportunity. And she's at NWA is the Thunder Rosa. I really like her. She could be one that could definitely would have added to the women's division, but there's definitely have to work. I don't see Sadie Gibbs around. I see Sadie is supposed to be moving here really soon. I think this end of this month. She's supposed to actually be moving to I believe the Atlanta area to get into the new gym with QT, the ring and the training area with QT. Yeah, she's one that actually needs to be in there, and I don't know why she's away so long. I mean, that's definitely a question for Sadie, what's going on with Sadie, but I know from what she's expressed on social media that she's getting ready to move to the States. I've seen her all over the world, like getting a fresh start of mind. I don't know what's happening with her in that, but from what I know, she's moving to Atlanta to the States to be closer and have that training and be in the training facility. So hopefully they're taking her time, and maybe there's some things she needs to work out to be ready. I thought she has some stuff on her that definitely, I think she could be a star. I think Penelope Ford maybe needs to get in the ring more, and she may need more seasoning. She may be a little green, but I think Penelope Ford's look and her athletic ability, she does have somewhat that it about her, and maybe she's somebody you need to push, because I think you need to find the its. I like Sheeta. I like Statlander. And I know there's a lot of friction with the women's division, but some of the Yoshi girls that a lot of people don't like Rio, and those girls are experienced. You can see the match. Rio had a better match with Nyla Rose in her 2 matches than she did with Statlander. Why? Rio's a seasoned veteran. It knows how to go, and then their polar opposites made a good match. There's some people crap on it. The quick, take in, for instance, the real thing. I think Sheeta may be the best. I like Sheeta. She may be the best in the ring there. Definitely, she's probably in for the next world title shot. But anyways, moving forward, and I'm not going to go into the whole card. It was a very good card, great pay-per-view. But the match that everybody's calling match, it was given a 6-star match by Meltzer. It was a great match, 32 minutes. It was the World Tag Team match with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks. This match, some people have called it maybe the best match in the best tag team match, possibly coming out of the North America. Some say in the history. This match, I won't go to that depth yet, but I will say this match was top-notch, one of the best tag team matches for storytelling, for the athletic ability, and all that came with it. It was one of the better tag team matches that I had seen, and it made sense. And it was top notch. It had you on your seats with the near finishes with these 4 guys and their athletic ability and their spots, but also the storytelling that went with them, and the story with Hangman Page and Matt Jackson that amped up, and it's been carried over last week even with what happened on the Dynamite after that, after the Fallout show. What happened? The storyline continued with Matt, and that this continued at Revolution. It was part of it. You even had a feeling at Revolution that there was possibly Hangman was going to even go after Kenny. He looked like he was going to get a buckshot lariat. Then he didn't, and he sat on the ropes and opened the ropes for Kenny to go through. They did defend the title in a great 32-minute plus match that people are talking to, that Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer gave us 6-star matches. I'm not always one to always say that the star system's the greatest, but it was a top-notch, one of the best tag team matches I had seen. You see these type of tag team match with the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, that was on their level. This match with the storytelling with it, and the way that this had the story changes in the match and had you anticipating total heel turns in the match, the confusion in the match, everything that you could look for in a match to get over and give you not knowing what's going to happen, and then not really know if it was going to be defended, if there was going to be a title change, because a lot of people thought that the Bucks, that Hangman would cost Kenny the match, and this would set Kenny and Hangman having their split, and then Hangman being turning complete heel. The Hangman problem doesn't necessarily seem to be that he doesn't want to be an elite and be in his own. He's asked for, told him he was leaving. Isn't so much that him and Kenny have got better and better at working as a team. First, remember, he was kind of selfish and hogged and got wins, and it was like, look what I did. I beat both their asses. But now you've seen, as time has flown, that actually Hangman and Kenny tag team is really good, and they work well as a team, top notch as a team. And then you see that Matt Jackson's anger isn't really even with Nick. You've seen that on Being the Elite today, when he asked, where is Nick? Or Matt said, well, he's injured. You injured him. He's not cleared to wrestle. He goes, he is? And then he had this other side flip, like, when is he back? He'll be back. A concern for Nick. And it's almost like his anger and frustration is really towards Matt, specifically Matt Jackson. And this is how the storyline I've been playing out. Because as times went on with the new gimmick, when they changed his gimmick, because this is the same athletic guy that's been there. This is the same athletic guy at All Out wrestled Jericho for the title. He really wasn't getting over then, but his athletic ability is what he is. He's only 27. He's one of the young bucks that go with Guevara and them. It could be definitely he may have the world champion. He will have a world championship before they do. Because this could be sooner than later. He gets over. But when they give him the gimmick with the drinking and the different change, that character change, this is professional wrestling again, got him over to now. He came to the ring with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. He may have had the biggest pop. Not may have, he did at Revolution. So changing him heel may not be the answer. I've kind of said this before, in my opinion. It may not be the answer, because he really has been over more than he ever has. And he showed at times with the roar of the crowd that he's over more than the established veterans. They did a great job of getting him over after the struggle to get him over, and then finding the character. And the character is a beer drinking, independent, jerk, but he's trying to fight his place within these guys who are all EVPs. It was said again today. He took Cody and was telling, they had an episode in Being the Elite. Cody was telling him, telling Matt, thanks for being there. It's like the old days. Oh, thank you for being there. He walks in and said, what about me? I saved your asses. So he said, I've always been the one behind the scenes and the one walking behind. I want one to walk out front. So it's like he felt like he could not live up to his full potential. And this is kind of where the storyline's going, because I don't know that making him a heel is the answer now. Maybe making Omega the heel is the answer. Who knows? Maybe Omega is the exalted one. We'll see. Just a little throw out. And some people say, nah. This is when it's good, because you can give these booking ideas, but they're not telling us. So we have all these. We don't know which really way they're going with this. But anyways, one of the best tag team matches you'll ever see. This tag team match was just fantastic. And that was Revolution. I'm sorry I didn't get the play-by-play on it. I didn't do the review immediately. I've been struggling. Had to make a change in my equipment, and I got some new equipment coming, so I'm not fully doing this stuff. But I do, by this week, I should have some more equipment. And then I got some more stuff coming. Branding will be coming and stuff like that. So, which is good. Really working on building this up. Um, so had some visitors too. Unexpected visitors came that I hadn't seen in a while. But anyways, then enough of the excuses. The consistency is where it's at. Want to bring you the best of. So that's kind of what happened with that. And the rumors and Monday Night Rumors. We know that we have a feeling that we know Lance Archer's in, but we have a feeling that Brody Lee, or formerly Luke Harper, and Matt Hardy are definitely coming in to AEW. Matt Hardy's making it sound like he hasn't made his choice, but then there's some follow-up. The delete, is it called being, what is it called? The delete, kind of like being the delete and the elite that you've seen today with it. Matt having flashbacks, whatever we haven't seen from what happened with Matt Hardy. He was having flashbacks. Like when he moved a table, he was carrying a coffin in flashback. When he was asking him to dig something out of something, he seen the shovel digging a hole. And it was like almost a PTSD situation. And he was having these memories and then shaking himself out of it when people were talking to him and they're asking him, "You all right? You all right? You're not, I'm talking to you, you're not answering me," because he would go into remembering. They would show the flash of him remembering what happened with Matt Hardy. So we haven't seen what happened in the follow-up, but you're going to see either on either show or both shows, which leads me to believe to invest in doing all the storylines with him is that he's coming. I know they're friends and they're not judging if he doesn't, and we've seen that with what's happened with Marty. Nick and Matt even said Marty. They kind of knew 2 months ago that Marty may not come because they just said his change. So that tells me that he was probably offered them more money and more power, and he was really contemplating it. And they knew it. They're not going to tell you the whole story, but not holding a grudge. He's still their friend. And I could see this with him because they want to have success for any of their friends. So kind of what's happening. And here, another announcement we got today. We know that in in New Jersey, the 25th of this month, 2 weeks from this coming Wednesday on Dynamite, they're calling this match Blood and Guts. Otherwise known and named as War Games. They cannot use the War Games name because it belongs to the WWE, but they can have the match. I think MLW did this match and used that used War Games name on it, and they probably got some kind of warning from WWE. They couldn't do it no more because I think they changed it the next time they had it. They called it something else. I thought this match was because Cody went out and got the name, the Match Beyond. And the reason I say that is that I was around when War Games, the original NWA War Games, World Championship Wrestling, NWA War Games went on. Actually, I seen the 88 tour in Oakland, California in 1988, when the NWA, before it was Totally Turner, I think, came to California that summer and had a War Games in Kaiser Arena in Oakland, California. And I seen the pay-per-view with War Games many times after and before, because it started right around 87, I believe, 87, 88 War Games. They cannot use the name, so they're calling it the Blood and Guts is what it's called. But it is War Games for any of those who, kind of wonder what this is. It's 2 rings encased by 1 steel cage over the 2-ring setup. It is a traditional, it's very violent in the rules. This Wednesday, we find out what their rules are going to be. They're going to talk about the rules. It was announced on Instagram yesterday that it would be the 5 of the Inner Circle against 5 of the Elite, being Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Cody, and this is another one in there, and Hangman Adam Page versus the Inner Circle of Hager, Jericho, Guevara, and the Proud and Powerful. That will be the match. I know some of the people are saying, well, this match is not stolen. The one who created this match is Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes invented the War Games. Yes, he did. The WWE got the rights of it when they bought out WCW, but actually it was Dusty Rhodes who created War Games. So AEW is going to do their version. Now some people are going to cry and think, I'll see their cop. No. This is Dusty's. Dusty's collective creative mindset created this, not WWE. I'm going to be honest, I can't stand that they have it because I know where and whence this came from and who got it and how when they have it, it's crap. It just, you can tell me how good it is, but I know I've seen them over and over for years and years and years make things crap that were good. So, it's just my opinion. I'm not too much of an opinion person. I deal with truth, and that's just it. It's Dusty's. Cody's Dusty's son. Cody wants to run it. Okay, legally we can't call it that. So they're going to call it Blood and Guts. Good. It's going to be the same match. I wouldn't doubt if they change the rules a little bit to add some flavor to it or some of the rules they want it and not be a carbon copy of. And I don't know what WWF does with their War Games. I've never seen it in the War Games because I don't watch the product. Like I've said, I'm to be honest, I'm a huge wrestling fan, but not a WWE fan. I'm one of the few podcasters you're going to see. I don't have WWE shows. I don't do the reviews. I don't do the Monday Night Raw review because I don't watch it. Somebody said, how are you doing the podcast and you don't do WWE? I left wrestling for 16 years because after the Monday Night Wars was not a WWE guy. And I tried to watch it 2 weeks after it was bought out. And then I said, no, I can't do this. This is a monopoly, and I don't believe I ain't having a part of this monopoly. I'm not letting them present to me their monopoly, because I know what comes with that. It comes powerless, and you get crap. But anyways, just D-Boy Uncensored's view on it. I mean, it's just, and I know people like it. It's still the number one company in the world. I know that, but there's some of us that know better. But so it's Dusty, but this is a fact. This isn't an opinion. It is Dusty's created this out of his creation of his own mind and his creativity in the sport of profession. Dusty created so much. Dusty created Starrcade. Before there ever was a WrestleMania, there was a Starrcade. So I know the other company has Starrcade because in a war, you inherit everything that you get in the war. Starrcade. And I know stuff like Bash at the Beach and stuff they don't like. Cody had mentioned, I understand why he had mentioned that if anything they could have the Slamborees and the Bashes at the beaches, but he went and got those names that he could get and keep them, but he would give them all up just to have Starrcade. And I understand that. Starrcade was Dusty's creation, not the WWE's creation. It's Dusty's. Cody's his son, Dustin's his son. It's a nightmare family. I understand it. So they're going to do a match that his dad, Dusty, created. They won't call it by Dusty's name, which is War Games, because it's owned. But it will be a War Games match. Blood and Guts, War Games. I look at War Games, Dusty. They can call it what they want of it. Dusty. Dusty. So War Games. So they're going to, and guess what? We're getting it on Dynamite. Not a pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view type match. It's a house show type match when the house shows meant something. It's going to be a Dynamite, man. It's going to be a Dynamite. Blood and Guts. They're going to little, and we already see on TNT, they gave them the okay that there's been some bloodshed. There's been a cage match. Some blood. Jericho bled on there. Cody's bled on Dynamite, and War Games always usually has some color, and I expect some color at War Games, and that's what we're going to have. So that's March 25th, 2 weeks from Wednesday. You will get a War Games on national TV on Dynamite. How good is that? And doing it the way it needs to be which I'm assuming it needs to be done the way I'm assuming. This Wednesday in Salt Lake City, you are getting the rules of Blood and Guts. So we will know the rules. We know the two teams that are opposing already, but we will know the fullness of the rules of Blood and Guts. Anything else I need to add? Anything else that I know that that we're coming down to? And I know it's WrestleMania season. We're coming to that, but we're having Blood and Guts. Also coming really soon in May is Double or Nothing, AEW's next pay-per-view in the city of Las Vegas, where the first Double or Nothing, the very first wrestling show began at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. StarCast is not going to be there, but they're going to have their own form of having events that will be AEW events. They won't be StarCast events, but it will be AEW. They'll have some panels. They have some meet and greets, and they will have some panels because they will be there just not only for Double or Nothing, but they will be there even through the next Wednesday for Dynamite will be there. So looking forward to that because you know what? I will be at Double or Nothing this year. I will be there. Got my tickets. I am on my way to this pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. I will be there, and I'm so glad. I'm going to go there and have a great time, and I was hoping that StarCast will be there, but I hope they give us some activities. I'm not there for the following Wednesday. I wished I was, but I'm not there for the following Wednesday because I will be heading home probably that Sunday after the Double or Nothing, but like I said, Dynamite will stay there and be from the same arena 5 nights later or 4 nights later on the Wednesday, but there's supposed to be some things going on. I hope they have some things going on for us the week. It'd be nice if they had something going on for us Thursday or at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some meet and greets and some panels and stuff. I love that. I would definitely go there and have a good time. Looking forward to that. I do think that that's kind of where it's kind of at now. Looking forward to Blood and Guts. Anything other news that we're hearing that could be going on? I know here on the West Coast on the 28th of March, PCW will return to Wilmington, and that's always a good crowd. Always around 1,000 people, 850 to 1,000 people every time the pay-per-view. Good crowd. Elite will be there. I think for sure at this time it's Marco and Luchasaurus will be there. I think wrestling the tag team champs of PCW. I think that's a scheduled match there. If I didn't look, I think Brian Pillman Jr. will be there. I plan to be there. That's always a Friday night. One of the best indie shows I believe in the nation and in Southern California. PWG is PCW Ultra. Always a good match, always a good card. Usually some great meet and greets, and always usually some veterans. I had met Kevin Sullivan there, took some pictures with him, got a little good chat with him. I had spent some time with Christy Hemme and Gail Kim there before because they were there for signing and getting together, and that's another good story they're putting together. I want to go to this PCW Ultra, be there the 28th. Wilmington, California. Good show, good food, good place for it. Holds about 1,000. They get them to in between 8,000 and 15,000. Good night of wrestling. Love PCW Ultra. It's about once every 6 weeks to 7 weeks. Sometimes, it's like that. About once every 2 months, but probably like once every 6 weeks. It's always a good crowd. They're always on TV. They have pay-per-view availabilities or on Fight TV. Always good match. A shout out to PCW Ultra. Planning to be there. I did not make it to the last one because I had stepdaughter got married. Couldn't be there. The marriage was the same day as the show, so I couldn't go. I would have been at the doghouse if I'd have went, and I can't. I had to go. Got to go support family. But all plans. West Coast Uncensored will be at PCW Ultra on the 28th March. 8:30 bell time, 7:30 entrance. 6:30 meet and greet. Good show. This is West Coast Uncensored. It's the D-Boy coming at you. Westcoastuncensored.com. Hit me up there. Looking for anybody that wants to build their business. I will put you on my website for $10 a month. That's it, $10 a month. That's free because you're just going to write that off on your taxes. And then we're going to scamper over there and do that. I will actually mention your business where? On my podcast. I will actually have commercials, your business, whatever you want to do. Hit me up on westcoastuncensored.com. Hit me up on an email. We'll collaborate and get your business and do whatever and cut a commercial for your business. I will definitely advertise your business if you go ahead and become a collaboration partner with us. We're so far happy to looking for those who will. Come on, man. Collaborate with us. You guys have a great day from West Coast Uncensored. D-Boy coming at you.